Hey guys, Coach Ben here, BigBenches.com, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about why it is beneficial to adopt a wider base with your leg drive here and your foot positioning on the bench press. Okay, don't necessarily have to. There's a lot of ways to position your feet. That's something that I've addressed in other videos before, that there's plenty of ways to address where you're placing your feet. Okay, but there are some benefits to having your feet out wider that I want to clear up today. In case you're someone that is doing it this way, I'm going to show you, and you want to try to make a switch to get a little bit more out of your support here. So the major thing is I see a lot of lifters creating leg drive like this. So they get this set up, feet are very close, heels are down. It's not necessarily toes back, but they're in very, very close to the pad, almost like this, right? And they're pushing this way. Okay, that's not bad. I'm getting good drive back, but it's all in my quads. All right, it's like front squatting versus low bar back squatting. What are you going to be stronger in? Probably low bar back squatting because you're using more. All right, if I'm here, I'm a little bit handicapped because I can only create so much hip tension. Even if I do, my base of support is so small. So that brings to the first point, support. You're going to have more support out here than you are in here. All right, and if you're a shirted or equipped lifter, right, you're going to feel this more so than probably a raw lifter. If you have loaded up like 7 plates plus on the bar, all this weight's out here, if you are in this type of base of support and someone brings you out the weight and maybe they dump it a little bit on this side, what's stopping you from doing this? All right, not much. I could push back, but upper body wise, I'm still wobbling around a bit. Okay, and that can happen to a raw lifter as well. There's not much to stop me from getting this twisting effect going on. Okay, you start to feel it once the weight gets heavy, but if you're out here, right, your feet are almost out where the plates are. So it's just like you opened up your tripod. Okay, you have much more support now. You're much more grounded. Okay, so I can take the weight out, and it's going to be really hard for me to move either way. Okay, because I'm going to be able to lock in, spread, and I'm going to have a good base of support there. Okay, so I'm going to have much more support in general. Traction. Traction is going to be another thing. If I'm tucked in here, right, if I don't have a good surface to push against, I'm probably going to slip, right? And if you think about it, I really, in that plane of motion there, I only have so much traction to the floor. Now, if I can open up, turn my toes out a bit, I have that whole side of my foot to bench against, or to push against, right? And if I run into trouble, say I'm on a weird surface, I can dig. It's not optimal, but I can dig the side of my foot in, so I can prioritize the inside of my foot a little bit more and dig that into the flooring. Okay, and I've had to do that on wooden platforms before. All right, so that's another huge benefit, is the tractional element that you can get out of being in this wider base, toes out a little bit more. Because in here, it's going to be hard to really open up enough to get that toe flare and get that traction and create the same push. Glutes. That's pretty much what it comes down to when I say front squat versus low bar back squat, right? Is the glute activation you can get with the wider base. So if you're in here, there's only so much you can squeeze your glutes. I can get a good push back, but I'm not getting that outwards tension as much. I'm not getting as much from my hips as I am my quads. It's much more quad based. Now, if I go out here wide base, right, and I drive out, see the knees come out. Boom, that lights up my hips. I squeeze my butt now. So I do this, I squeeze my butt, and then I push back. I feel much more powerful because I can actually get my hips into play. And your glutes are the largest muscle in your body. All right? You definitely want that muscle working for you and not just laying there dormant. All right? Your hips are going to be more powerful than just your quads alone. And you can use both of them in that wider base much more effectively. All right, so at the end of the day, I'm not saying the way you're doing it before is necessarily wrong. You can find successful benching that way. However, if you experiment with trying a wider base I think you might find some hidden gems in there that'll be particularly beneficial, especially if you're an equipped bencher. When you're handling that type of weight, really important that you have a nice wide base. Okay, Coach Ben here. Make sure you drop down below, check out the links in the bio, and I'll see you